Hello, I'm Julia Derbyshire. I'm reading a book called Sweeney Todd, the real story of the demon barber on Fleet Street.
Young and apparently carefree, a life of promise ahead. And yet a short time after this was filmed, Julia Derbyshire hanged herself.
It was just turmoil for her.
Julia's father says she was being bullied online.
Called names on social media, you're going to hell, burn in hell, God hates you. You know, to physical abuse as well. But yeah, there was no respite for Julia.
And when the attacks began to affect her, she turned to the Child and Adolescent Mental Health Service, or CAMS, for help.
I think most CAMS are at crisis point, and it's only going to get worse if something doesn't happen.
Speaking exclusively to ITV News, one former child psychologist who worked within CAMS in the Northwest says that service is struggling to cope.
It's stretched to breaking point. There's not enough staff. They're literally firefighting, dealing with emergencies and doing the minimum that they can in order to keep everybody safe.
Margaret still works in mental health services. We've hidden her identity to protect her job.
Are we letting our young people down then?
Yes, absolutely. Unfortunately, there are too many kids nowadays who commit suicide, and that's a failure.
This is Julia on life support hours before the machines were switched off. A Granada Reports investigation has shown young people in our region with mental health issues like Julia can be waiting up to 9 months for treatment on the NHS.
The problems aren't being treated, they're just being managed. So they just spiral and snowball into bigger and bigger and bigger things.
For Julia, a series of cancelled appointments meant she didn't get the support she needed in time.
Julia's case manager was a lovely lady, she was part of the family, but had 50 caseloads. Teenagers who are hurting themselves, 50 teenagers who are contemplating suicide, have severe mental health issues, as well as personality disorders. How can one person support 50 of those teenagers crying for help?
How have we got to this situation? What's gone wrong?
So you've got lack of funding. You then have staff who are at breaking point, who are going off with stress. Parents now both go to work, they're working long hours. And then you've got social media, which is, it's the biggest, I think it's had the biggest effect on mental health in the modern age.
1 in 10 5 to 16-year-olds, or 3 in every classroom, have a diagnosable mental health problem.
And now Adrian has taken his message out on the road too, to 200,000 young people.
Arguing with a friend, break up with your boyfriend, your parents are arguing with each other, pressures of school, exams. All these can actually cause you to have anxiety.
This is Cardinal Newman College in Warrington, and these are some of the young people who Adrian is determined to get talking about their mental health.
3 in every classroom, I feel like that's kind of shocking because, like, they are your fellow classmates and like you don't know that that's happening or going on.
It just shows how much pressure we force on young people in society, that a 5-year-old, someone in primary school, someone who should be playing with toys, not stressing about work and friends, have mental health illnesses such as anxiety and depression. I just don't think it's right.
You could start thinking like being anxious about things or stressing out about exams, and that could just go in like a downward spiral towards like something you never expected yourself to feel.
I just can't get my head around it, like how common it is, and yet it slips completely under the radar.
People that I know, people that I'm close to, will be affected by mental illness. So everyone needs to be a lot more aware of it and like always be there for someone and be a friend to someone.
What happens if we do not deal with mental health issues when they arise in children and young adolescents?
Mental health issues don't go away, so they stay there bubbling under the surface, and either it will be a slow progression where it gets worse and worse, or it will get to the point where something really serious and dangerous happens.
What will happen is more children will die. It's as simple as that.
And our thanks.